Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I am Monica, the Kismet Chemist. If you're new to my channel, welcome to the family. I'm honored to have you. If you are returning, welcome back. I have missed you. So last week we were, last week we were all about the rising sign messages, going through the moon phases, getting the energy readings, and finding our own personal place within the collective. This week we are back to doing pick a cards, and I have to admit I have missed pick a cards through the week. As exciting and illuminating as the rising sign messages are, I love both formats, but I am excited to get back to this one. So today we are getting messages from your heart. What does your heart need? Is it healing? Is it clarity? Is it awareness? Whatever it is that your heart needs, that is what we are asking Spirit and your guides to help bring through today. There are 4 piles. Each one has a card face up. Excuse me, guys. I have a frog in my throat. I drank like half a bottle of water before this, but it's early morning and I'm on the tail end of a sinus infection. So please forgive me on that one. But each of them have a card face up. So if you're attracted to one of the images that you see, please check that pile out. However, I did want to go back to bringing crystals out for the cards as well. So in pile 1, we have this beautiful raw amethyst. And I love how deep the purple goes, but on the edges, it really lightens up. It's kind of a still waters run deep is what this feels like. And then for pile 2, we have a raw sodalite stone. And for me, I'm used to sodalites being blue and white. So when I came across this one that was blue with black specks, there was another level of power to it. So if you are feeling called to power and purpose, that would be what that stone is saying to me. And then we have the third one, which is a black obsidian. And I'm sorry, I love it. What I just heard as I touched the stone is, "You can't dull my shine." It's beautiful. And then we have green fluorite for the 4th one. And I gotta be honest, I'm hearing seagulls and ocean waves. I did not hear any words, but I definitely heard seagulls and ocean waves. All right, so I am going to give you guys a little bit of time, meditate with the cards, meditate with the crystals. Still waters run deep. I think it was purpose and power. If it wasn't, that's definitely what it is now. The ever-changing nature. You can't dull my shine. And then ocean waves and seagulls. Ask your guides, trust your heart, trust your intuition, allow yourself to be led. The timestamps will be in the description box below. Willow pile 1. So I figured out that I was filming for like 2 minutes straight and my microphone was muted. So we're just going to start this again. And if you can hear the pitter patter of feet, Willow has the zoomies. Jade is super excited, and so they are wrestling outside the door, and I prefer keeping the door open so the cats and dogs can come and go as they please, because otherwise they just whine. And if you heard that, that would be Jade. We call her Chewbacca now because that's the sound she makes when she plays with Willow. So now that you guys have gotten all my crazy house disclaimers, let's get into your message. So if you chose that first pile, the first stone and card, this is Still Waters Run Deep. And this is your card right here. And I'm going to try and get it up here. Okay. I'm going to show you the card and talk for a little bit before we read the back. So the very first thing that I noticed about this card were the stars. And they seem to be, to me, they look like they're falling. And I heard falling stars. But this top one right here is on her higher heart chakra, and it's on fire. And I'm not saying anything bad about the artistry on this one, but there's something about his eyes, his facial expression, that just kind of, it just makes me feel a little inky about the situation. And I can understand why, with the context of the song that came through for your pile especially. So the song that came through for your pile was Lost Stars by Adam Levine. And this is a song that's tied to a movie called Begin Again. And I've never seen the movie Begin Again, but Lost Stars came into my life back in 2015. That's when I discovered this song. I don't even know when it came out for sure. 2012, 2013, 2014, somewhere in that area. The movie came out in 2013 and 2014, so it could be somewhere in that area. But regardless, I had never heard the song until it would have been September of 2015. And if that seems ridiculously specific, it is. But it's ridiculously specific because this song came into my life when I was going through my first divorce, or well, my only divorce, but going through the divorce from my first husband. And the lyrics of the chorus, it says, "Searching for meaning, but are we all lost stars, trying to light up the dark? Who are we? Just a speck of dust within the galaxy." And give me just a minute, guys. Sorry about that. I had to get my dogs to stop wrestling quite so dramatically. I apologize. 2 puppies in one house, and one of the puppies is literally a horse. She doesn't understand her own size. She just doesn't. She thinks she's significantly smaller. And then if you've been on my channel for a while, you know Willow, she thinks she's big, but she's not. That's the dachshund in her. But the lyrics, who are we? Just a speck of dust within the galaxy, and woe is me. And it continues on in, I think it's the third set of lyrics. Gosh, my brain is just not working on this one. It says, if we're not careful, turns into reality. Don't you dare let our best memories bring you sorrow. Yesterday I saw a lion kiss a deer. Turn the page. Maybe we'll find a brand new ending. And that brand new ending is so important. But when I was listening to the song during that time in my life, it was like the universe was reaching out to me in my darkest time and saying it will be okay. Every ending brings something new. And it did, because it was during that time that I met my husband now, and we became best friends, and he really understood on a level that nobody else did in my life exactly what it was that I was feeling. Why this is so important for this pile is because you can see you can see the pain on her face, the pain that is so severe that she can't look at him. And he's focused outward instead of on her. And I get this essence of kind of like the fallen angel energy. Like we can idealize certain things and we can focus on certain things, but sometimes spirit and our hearts are calling us to remember the good times because that helps to let go. So if your heart is hurting right now because you have gone through something and you are choosing to close your eyes, to not look, and to just be still, understand that the waters of your soul run deep, and those waters are here to help nourish you, to help cleanse you, to help your heart heal through this. So let's get the message on the back. It says forgiveness. Stop focusing your energy on past events. Your life is too precious to waste. You create your reality by what you think, dream, and imagine. I was having a conversation with a new friend yesterday. I just ran into some woman randomly in Walmart and we got to talking and we actually stood like in the Walmart aisle and talked for, I want to say like 2 hours. But one of the topics of conversation we came to, and if this gives you guys any like insight into my random conversations with strangers who, well, we're friends now, but still, any insight into my random conversations with people that I have just met, I don't think anything else will. But we started talking about the concept of forgiveness. She had made a comment about, how as a Bible teacher or as a Sunday school teacher, she enjoys being in the toddler room because her lesson plans don't carry as much resistance. And she talked about, how people want to argue against giving forgiveness for wrongdoings. And I don't want to get into the more specific details because it was what it was. But she had a point. And it's something that I found often is this notion of forgiveness and how people don't understand the purpose of it, the value of it. I've seen it on TikTok myself, where there will be people who will talk about, don't tell me to forgive my abuser because my abuser X, Y, and Z. Don't tell me to forgive the person who assaulted me because this person did blah, 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 blah. I myself am a survivor of domestic abuse, domestic violence. I am a trigger warning here if anybody gets triggered by just hearing the words, but I am a survivor of sexual assault. I am a survivor of rape. I am a survivor of molestation. I am a survivor of physical abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse. I am a survivor of a deeply covert narcissistic relationship. I am a survivor. So I understand how much it takes for someone to give forgiveness because I have forgiven. And I don't say that lightly. And I don't say that because I think it's a plaque or a medal or a cape that I wear, because it's not easy and I have to continually do it every single day. As it stands right now, where I'm at in my life, every single day I wake up and I make a conscious choice to forgive the pains of the past so that I don't focus on that. And so when triggers from the past come up, I can recognize them, say, okay, this is what happened in the past. I am responding to a past event instead of the present event. Let me explain this, that this is one of my triggers. And now let me shift back into this and get back grounded in, centered in myself and see where my emotions and mentality really are rather than being in that past moment. It is a conscious decision that has to be made every single second of every single day for me because I lived 28 years of my life in abuse. When you're in that state for as long as you have been, or as long as I have, but for you, I feel like it's been a very long time. Like you're almost waking up to realize, holy shit, it's been most of my life. This has been going on, and I've been in that place. Forgiveness is not for the other person. It's not an excuse. It's not breaking down your boundaries. It's not breaking down your walls of what is right for you and what is okay for you. What it does is it breaks down the wall of self-blame, self-sabotage, self-doubt. It breaks down those walls that you have placed the truest essence of yourself behind because you had to do that because that was the safest thing for you to do. Forgiveness is never, ever, ever meant to be for the other person. It is meant to be a form of freedom for your own heart and your own soul and your own mind. Hi, Willow. Oh, honey, she's got like the rapid hiccups. So she just ate and she does this rapid hiccuping. Give me just a moment. I'm going to let her out. Okay, I'm back. I apologize for all the interruptions. This is supposed to be like a deep and profound reading for your heart. And the dogs, I think, they get so tapped into the energies. And when all these energies flow in this heavy way, Willow always comes and wants to bring something lighter into the energy. That's what she does. She's so great for that. So I hope that you can actually tap into that and breathe a kind of sigh of relief. Because as we were talking about with forgiveness, forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for you. Forgiveness is something that you do consciously so that you step into the truest essence of who you are instead of blocking that off out of fear. Forgiveness is what you do when you say, okay, I recognize that this situation happened. This was my place in it. This was the other person's role in it. I understand the choices that were made. Even if you don't understand the choices that were made on a deeper level, you understand logically, this is a choice that was made. This is an action that was taken based off of that choice. And then you can say, okay, we're all doing the best that we can. We're not perfect people. And I am going to choose to forgive the situation because I am ready to move on from it. I will never allow another person to put me into this situation, to treat me this way, but I am not going to engage in this anymore. So whether you want to apologize to me or not, I forgive you because I need it for my own heart, for my own soul. That is the beauty of forgiveness. It changes the entire dynamic of your reality. It shifts everything around you to show you your truest value, your truest worth, because you are starting to see it by saying, I don't want to be tethered to this past anymore. I am not this past person. I will not engage in these past activities, or I will not engage with this person from my past. I don't want to carry this with me anymore. I am ready to release it. I am ready to move forward. And your heart is saying, you are ready now. As many times as you may feel triggered, you may feel hyper emotional, you may feel pain and anguish from these things, you are ready to let it go. You do have that strength and that resilience and that resolve. The still waters run deep within you. Your emotions, your understanding, your awareness, your truest essence, your spirit, they are running so deep within you to help replenish, to help nourish the inner world within you, because now is the time for you to let go of the past because you're ready. You're ready for this step. Let's take a look at your other cards. So we have, and this is Whispers of Love. We have Choose Love. You always have a choice. Make yours with love. And I just want to show you this because you can see people sitting around talking. And that's kind of the energy that I kept picking up, is this energy of talking it out, talking to someone else. Even if you don't want to talk to the person that you're trying to forgive, giving yourself an outlet or multiple outlets really makes a difference, because when you do that, you start seeing different perspectives. The more different perspectives you see, the more you get to grow into what your truth is. And then we have the secret language of light, which are transmissions from your soul. And it is the card 39 and variants. I want to wait on this one. And this is the Earthcraft Oracle, which I absolutely love this. All right, we've got 37 and Mountain. So we've got 21, 39, and 37. So this is a 10, and then we have 2 3s. Because 39 reduces to 12, which reduces to 3, 21 reduces to 3. But, there's still that reflection principle here again, too, which makes a lot of sense why they wanted me to wait, why your guides wanted me to wait. So we're going to start with the Mountain card here. So first of all, you may be drawn to Moana, to Pocahontas. I just heard The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. But, the story of Moana, really, really makes me think about this Mountain card, because, and forgive me because I can't remember the name of the goddess, but her heart had been taken. Maui took her heart, and when her heart was taken, when her heart was removed from her, or essentially when she was disconnected from her heart, she became a volcano, a raging volcano. And they thought that I want to say they thought the goddess died and was replaced by a monster. But in truth, the monster was the goddess and the goddess was the monster. It's just that the heart had been removed. So when you move through a state of forgiveness, sometimes it's important to remember that you can be hard, you can be reactive, you can explode like a volcano when it feels like you're missing your heart, when you are separated from your heart. But the truest essence of who you are is this gentle creature, this loving, nurturing creature who gives, whose strength is that of mountains. And mountains carry so much life through the mountains. If you think about it, trees will grow at incredibly high altitudes against incredible odds. Life will grow. They have animals that can climb up the highest mountains and will live there. So mountains are literally like all of Mother Nature combined into one. Even people will go and live on the side of a mountain. And so they're this beautiful life force that we really do take for granted often, because we just think that they're a stone structure in the world caused by pressure from the moving glaciers against the land. Like, sure, science is great, and I love science, trust me, I'm a huge science nerd. But when you think about the essence of a mountain, think about the foothills that are part of that mountain, because those are part of the roots of the mountain. The foothills that hold whole cities of people, and they turn into wildlands and forests, and then it turns into hiking trails and jagged, sharp-edged walls to climb. Excuse me, I've got the yawns. That usually happens with specific energies. Ones that really, more than anything, ones that are really aching for rest, aching for a break. So that may be something that you guys are feeling. But if you think about mountains in that sense, a mountain range has so much life wildlife, bird life, plant life, vegetation. They are monuments of beauty of the natural world. And animals and birds and people from all over, all walks of life, come there to witness that beauty. When you are separated from your heart, you forget the beauty that the world is able to witness from within you. You forget your multifaceted nature. You forget how amazing and incredible you can be. So right now, your heart is asking you to please choose love and forgiveness. Forgive yourself for those moments where you have been harder than you normally would be, where you have responded in a way that you're not proud of, because we all do that. We all go through it. And when you're in a pain and a trauma-induced state, that's an easy thing to do, is react. The hard thing to do is to step back and to analyze and to see, okay, I'm being reactive. Why am I being reactive? And how can I change this? And I feel like you guys do that hard thing all the time, but you underestimate it. You underestimate the power, the potency, and the impact that it makes on yourself, on your life, on your healing, on your heart. And right now, your heart just wants you to let go of the past, to just let it go now, because it's your time to create a new reality. And your heart is begging for you to create this multifaceted reality that reflects the multifaceted nature that you are, that is based off of love. Look how gentle and loving this face is right here. That's what your heart is asking you to do. All right. Can we get just a few messages in closing? How can pile 1 move forward from here? All right. We have the 4 of Wands, the Knight of Wands. And I was going to mention it and then I didn't. And if you watch any readers, myself included, for long enough, you know that when we don't say things, it has a way of coming back. So I was channeling something about bunnies and bunny rabbits that are significant to this pile. We have the 6 of Wands. Oh, a lot of fire energy. This is what your heart wants you to do. Your heart wants you to take that volcanic energy, that reactive energy, and turn it into inspiration, union, happiness, joy, blending together, because that's where the victory is. Laurel wreaths, the laurel essential oil. I actually am working a healing waters spell over the new moon, which is actually hitting today as I'm filming, called Bring Back the Loving Feeling. And I am working with laurel in there because it's like heart victory is being asked for. And then the Queen of Pentacles. And again, we've got these bunnies here and here. And yeah, the 3 of Swords. So your heart is really asking you to take a step back from this 3 of Swords energy, because when you do, you're going to be able to see the things that you actually have in your life. This 4 of Wands is usually the 1111 card, the awakening card, the celebration card. People think of it as twin flames, union. When you keep holding on to, I want to be really clear about something. If you've been going to a lot of readers, and the only reason why I'm mentioning this is because this is an experience that I have had before. If you're going to readers and your heart is still tied to a past situation and you're asking for relationship advice because you're in a current relationship, you're going to be getting advice for your past relationship. And Spirit is showing me this situation to let you know, because when you're still holding on to that, you're still tethered to it. And so you're not able to see the truth of the relationship that you're in, and your guides are trying to get you to understand that it's still connected with this past energy, this past pain. And so it's really important for your heart right now that you hear this, that you understand this, that whatever it is that you feel hung up on that has you continually going to love readings or going to readers and asking love questions because you hear answers, but something just doesn't feel right. It's because there's a part of you that is still lingering on this past situation, on this past event. And it's lingering so hard that it's keeping this Three of Swords energy alive within you. But the truth of the matter is, and this is very specific for those who are already in a connection. The truth of the matter is that this past pain here is literally just that. It is the past, which means that this is your present moment. For those of you who are not in a committed relationship, I am telling you that this is the past pain. This is the fear that you have. And the longer you hold on to that fear, based off of what happened in the past, the more you perpetuate the cycle of that pain. And it doesn't mean that you're going to cause the same situation to happen again. It means that you're going to keep yourself in that energy. And so any reader is going to come in and say, this is what the energy is. And it's because your energy is there. So a huge piece of advice that I can give you as you're here on a love reading, here on a heart reading, is to trust your own healing. To trust your own healing because I'm reading the energy. And if I had not gone through this situation, I could not present it to you. So I would read this as you had all this pain in the past, but there's this new love coming in, new inspiration. Instead, what I'm reading this as is you have this for you somewhere in your life, and you're not able to see it clearly because you're still in this pained, reactive state. But spirit and your guides, and especially your heart right now, are trying to get you to understand that I just heard time marches on. The time marches on, and time heals all wounds, and they're cliches for a reason. Any cliche is out there because it has been said enough and found to be true enough to become a cliche. You know, you think about people saying, well, everything happens for a reason, and people can get so triggered by that. But if you think about it, everything happens for a reason. Whatever is going on in your life led you to this reading right here. This reading is going to lead you somewhere else in your life. It's happening for a reason. So if these past pains are coming up now, and especially with us being in Mercury retrograde, just entering into Libra season, these past pains are coming up. It's coming up to get that last bit of forgiveness out of you so that your reality can shift, because your reality that's shifting here is literally this Four of Wands, Knight of Wands, Six of Wands, Queen of Pentacles. This is literally happiness, joy, inspiration, rapid changes towards victory, grounding, nurturing, a loving, stable situation and home. You know, bunnies or hares or rabbits can sometimes be representative of rapid change, but at the same time, they are very skittish. If you think about a rabbit out in nature, they're very skittish. This is about the way in which your fear holds you back. But if you look at this Queen of Pentacles, she's holding the bunny. So she's holding on to the fear and she's looking up. She's got a crown that reminds me of the Little Mermaid. So you guys may just be drawn to going and watching Disney princess movies. Just like binge it for a day. Because I'm literally seeing, like, I'm seeing Hercules. I'm seeing Fantasia. I am seeing Alice in Wonderland. I am seeing The Little Mermaid, Moana. What was the Pocahontas, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I'm literally seeing all the princess movies. Like they're just here. I can see them here. Your heart wants you to remember what it's like to believe in that true destined love, to believe that that love wins out over everything, no matter what. And it's hard to see that if you're still stuck in this Three of Swords energy, but this feels like it's so far in the past. And it could have happened yesterday, but to your heart, it feels like it's so far in the past. That now is your time to choose love. And one of the best ways to just get yourself onto that shift is to engage in watching things or reading books that really do have a true love quality to them. I know for me with choose love, I'll go and watch The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. And I know that seems really crazy because it's like crap, like reality TV, and most of the time it's not real love. Sometimes it works. And it's almost more important to see the times that it doesn't work, to value the times that it does work. And that may be something that is really prominent for you as well. Because the more that you are able to understand that you've gone through all of these Three of Swords moments, the more you're able to see all of the Four of Wands celebratory moments, those joyful moments, those moments where you and your fears are one and together, and neither one of you is more dominant or more powerful or more potent than the other, but you are working together in order to move forward with inspired action. And you're with someone else who is so similar to you, but is still different. And it's those differences you grow through and the similarities that provide you that comfort, that love, that nurturing that you need in those moments where these past pains come up. And so, pile one, the waters of your soul run very deep. The love in your heart runs very deep. And when your love and your soul both have that powerful level of the ability to love, it is hard. It is hard to allow yourself to be willing to try again, to be willing to open back up, especially after you've been hurt. But holding on to the past pains is not your path forward. And your heart is asking you to release that now, because your path forward needs to be 100% heart driven. From the heart, for the heart. Okay, pile one. This is all I'm seeing for you guys, all I'm hearing. I want to say thank you so much for being here, for your wonderful and amazing energy. I want to say thank you to your guides and my guides, and to Amazing Spirit for connecting us, for facilitating the messages, for bringing forth the energy and the awareness. And thank you so much for sharing this time with me and allowing me to bring you messages from your heart. If this resonated, please hit that like button. Don't forget to comment on this video. Let me know how it resonated. I would love to know. Let others know what pile you are so that you can so you can not understand, but so you guys can connect to the other people that are on the same piles. I want this to be a firm networked channel where you guys do a lot of interconnections and communicate with each other, because this is home for me. And I'm opening my home with an open door for all of you. And I hope that you find other pieces of your home here. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. If you guys are really struggling and you would like to know more about my backstory, there is a link in the description box to my author page on Amazon. All of my books are there. Chemistry with Kismet and Something Spiritually Catchy especially would definitely be great books for you guys to check out, so you understand that you're not alone in this, that the past pains are very difficult to let go, but forgiveness is such a beautiful, beautiful blessing. All right, pile ones, thank you so much again, and I hope I will see you at my next reading. I love you all. Bye. Hello, pile two. If you chose the second card and the second stone, the sodalite, this is your message. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I totally just like paused there for a minute. I'm hearing blank slate, tabula rasa. Like, So tabula rasa is like a blank check, a blank slate, a blank starting point. So you guys may have just recently gone through a massive, massive heart-centered transformation in your life. This happens usually along the around the time where it feels like everything has suddenly fallen apart, and you just have to really get down and deep and evaluate what matters, what's important, where your life is, and where you want to go from there. And looking at this card before I turn it over and talk about it, I want you guys to look at the trunk of this tree and see that at the base of the tree, the very first symbol that you see is the heart. And then you have the Ankh, or the symbol of life from Egyptian mythology, the infinity symbol, the star, and then the yin and yang. And this tells me that this transformation that you've gone through, this huge restructuring, has been for you to literally build your life and your future upon living from the heart, moving from the heart. I'm being brought back again to that passion and purpose. And it's about there being a purpose and passion is what's coming through now. It's about knowing that when you feel something from the heart so strongly, it is one of the most grounding things you experience. It's like tapping into something. Let me give you a for instance. I think the easiest way, because Spirit's showing me the correlation here, is when I sit here and I do these readings for you all, something inside of me blossoms, grows, expands every single time. And it's not that I don't have that capability within myself. It's that there is such a passion here for me coming forward and bringing these messages to you that it makes me feel larger than the life that I have lived prior to embracing myself, embracing my gifts, embracing the path that my heart had been calling for me to take. It's the same as when I sit down and I write my books, when I channel messages from the stars and from the planets and from the transits, and I go back and I reread what I've written, and I find myself in this state of, this came through me. Like, wow, this came through me. And it's that feeling, that moment where you do something and you feel inspired by what you've done for yourself, and you realize just what a blessing living from the heart and living from your heart in particular, Pile 2, really is. And you have built this entire foundation strong and rooted, just like the tallest oak tree, strong and rooted based off your heart. And from your heart, you built your life. And from your life, you built your divinity and your understanding of the ebbs and flows, the ins and outs, the life, death, the rebirth cycle. And from there, it's like a shooting star taking off in a beautiful, balanced state. And this is not a small thing. It takes years, centuries for a tree to grow to the size of, say, the redwoods in California. So if you think about the ancient essence of how trees are, look outside and find the biggest tree trunk you can. Now think about how many years it took to form each and every one of the rings of that tree. Now this is how many lifetimes you've been working to get right here, right now. Your heart is telling you, you have been doing this for lifetimes. You have been working for lifetimes on this path, on this journey to building your life from the heart. And now look at how much your tree is flourishing. You have literal stars and hearts in your tree that have blossomed all around you. That means there are people and blessings and miracles shining and growing from what you have planted, from what you are doing. And you have been working on this for lifetimes. I'm getting for centuries. I just keep hearing for centuries. Centuries by Fallout Boy is actually playing in my head. You'll remember me for centuries. Whatever it is that you're doing, your heart is letting you know that it is going to last. It is going to be an incredibly lasting impact, not just in this life, but in every life and in the world and on such a huge scale. All right, let's look at your card. Some of you may have Pisces placement strongly. Alternately, you may be seeing a lot of birds lately, songbirds more than anything. Some of you may actually be lyricists, musicians. You have such a dreamy energy, but it's such a grounded, real dream. This is so incredible. I feel like I'm deeply rooted into the ground while also floating in the cosmos right now, just touching this card with you guys. This is a very, very unique energy. Your heart is letting you know that you are as unique as you think you are. That means that it doesn't matter how derivative people may think something is. What you do has no derivation. What you do in the world is not like anything else. It may outwardly look similar, but there is something to it that holds an essence that is utterly different, and it comes directly from your heart and from the cosmos, and your heart is directly tied to star seeds. I was going to say the stars, but star seeds is what came out. Okay. Aha. Manifesting miracles. Your dream is soon to become reality. Trust your heart and continue to follow its guidance. And this is what you guys have done. This is what we've been talking about. You guys have literally built your entire life, but you've built your life force on the essence of your heart, the passions that you have in your heart. Mars retrograde in Gemini may be very, very significant for you this year. It may be one of those times where you have this like massive inner awakening to the realization of the truest nature of your passions and ambitions in this world. So let's take a look at your oracle cards. We're going to start here. We have the card 4 and Birch. And then we have relationship patterns. It takes strength to recognize the need for change. Then we have the card 45 and Let Your Light Shine. And this is 32, so that reduces to a 5. This reduces to a 9. And then we have 4, Authentic Truth. So we have 2 4s and then 4, 4, 5, 9. And let me just, I need to get a refresher on this Birch card. So let me grab, as I'm knocking so many things over. All right. This is the Earthcraft Oracle. And I haven't used it for a while, so I just want to pull up this Birch card. So it says, birch trees are old sacred woods that are believed to heal emotional wounds, ward off negative influences, and banish fears. They're also associated with new beginnings, making them the perfect energy to channel for healing old wounds and welcoming new connections. Birch may come to a reading when you are feeling vulnerable, afraid, and unsupported. You may be feeling the need to hide away from the world to lick your wounds. If you've experienced trauma or hardship lately, know that extra support is being provided for you and you're being protected. It also comes as a gentle reminder to build boundaries, but don't close your heart. I'm not going to continue reading. I don't feel like we need to. This is that transformation that you have been going through. And here's where I'm seeing it. Okay. I'm getting so much passion, so much purpose. I am feeling as though this has everything to do with your actual physical reality, as in not just relationships, but your relationship to the world, your relationship to money, your relationship to yourself, your relationship to Mother Nature, your relationship to the stars. This is a relationship pattern thing that is so much more reaching than any small notion someone could have. And the truth that I'm picking up from you, your true authentic nature, is literally that you can see, you can see patterns. So you may have gone through a journey in your life in which things kept repeating themselves, but they'd come in a different form. But at the end of the day, the lesson was always the same. And in this case, it feels like the lesson that was the same was learning your own boundaries, learning your own worth, learning your own gifts and your own truth and your own light. And it came in the form of your relationships over and over and over again. You guys might be a Pisces rising. You might be a Virgo rising. You may be in a relationship with someone who has a lot of Virgo placements. Alternately, you could be in a relationship with somebody who is a water sign or an earth sign. Those are very, very specific, but that's what I'm picking up from the relationship patterns card. What I'm picking up the most here is you have gone through this phase in which everything felt upside down. Everything felt twisted and locked up. And you realized it was simply because you didn't see the whole truth of yourself. You didn't see the essence of yourself. You weren't fully aware of it. And it's like you thought you were forgettable. You thought you were forgettable. And a big part of that is because you weren't hearing your heart. You weren't listening to your heart. You weren't following your heart. And so spirit and your guides and especially your heart are coming forth and saying, the truest essence of who you are is your heart. You've recognized all of these different patterns of behaviors, patterns of responding, patterns of coming together with others. And you've also been able to see the patterns in a way that you can change them through healing, through openness, through vulnerability, through intimacy. And these are hard things to do. That's not a walk in the park. Being open and honest and completely laying yourself bare. You might be the kind of person who says something like, I am more comfortable naked than I am talking about my emotions. It's like physical nakedness is okay, but emotional nakedness has been one of your greatest challenges in this life, this specific lifetime. And it's something that your soul has been working on for a very long time, is letting yourself shine out as the absolute pure heart, pure natured, pure intention person that you are. Because we live in a world that you feel like will eat you up in a big way. We live in a world that would eat you up. But when you let your light shine and you actually realize the strength that you have, how sacred you are, how rooted and grounded and true and strong you really are, that in and of itself is when you really step into this point in which you realize that to manifest a miracle is literally just to listen to your heart. Because listening to your heart means that you know and you trust that you're a walking miracle, so miracles will come in. And that's something that I feel really strongly like you're teaching or you're being called now to teach others in whatever way that comes. It may be through counseling, marriage counseling, couples counseling. You may be a spiritual relationship counselor, twin flame counselor, I just heard. I don't know what that is. I've never heard of it before, but that sounds interesting. I know that this world could definitely use more understanding of the twin flame relationship and what it's actually like. So if that's you, thank you. But I'm seeing this relationship patterns like we're looking at all relationships with your parents, relationships with your siblings, relationships with yourself, relationships with the earth, and especially relationships with the earth. That's a very, very strong one here. You may have as one of your guides Ellen of the Ways. She is, I believe, a Celtic goddess. You may also be drawn to Buddha, Gandhi. Wow. Okay. Let me see here. No. Okay. I just heard no. Okay. What area in your life are you not shining forth? Where are you afraid to see the truth of who you are? We have the reversed Knight of Cups. And you guys know I don't normally take reversals, but if it flies out in reverse, I'm going to take it as the reverse. The Knight of Cups to me, I know that a lot of people look at the Knight of Cups as being like romance and grand romantic gestures, but to me, the Knight of Cups is the card of passion. This is the card of passion just extending itself out to you. So moving forward from here, what you can do is really like, instead of looking outward from yourself for passion and purpose, look internally. Queen of Wands. Yeah. Some of you may be drawn to witchcraft, spellcraft, working with animals, working with herbs and flowers. That may be something that you're afraid to embrace as a passion, because of past relationships and acceptance of these kind of things. And I'm here to tell you, I definitely understand that. That's something that I personally have gone through, which makes sense why it would come through here with your pile, because one of the most grounded and rooted things that I do in my life is embrace intention-based cooking, so kitchen witchery, or going on walks with my dog, setting intention for receiving during that time, making my life more intentional. Knowing that when I'm in the kitchen or when I'm in the shower, I'm going to be open to receiving different messages, because those are my places where messages just easily flow towards me. Understanding these things and living with intention in that way, and it is a form of witchcraft. And then I have to ameliorate myself with the fact that in the past, when I would practice witchcraft, or when I would talk about it, or when I would read about it, or anything like that, I'd go through patterns within my familial relationships, like my mother's side, where I would feel very ostracized and I would feel very wronged for my passion in this. And Spirit is bringing me to talk to you guys about this, because that's something that is really hard for someone to move beyond. And if you're struggling with that, the biggest thing your heart wants you to do is let that go, because you're manifesting a dream. You're manifesting this life into your existence, into your reality. That's what you're manifesting. And that means that if you recognize that this is a pattern that happens, then now it's time to let that go and realize that you're on your own journey, and your family is on their journey, and your friends are on their journey, and your coworkers are on theirs, and your boss and this and that. Everybody is on their own journey. So you get to decide what your journey is by listening to your heart and following your heart, because your heart knows what your journey is. We've got the 9 of Wands. Yeah, it's got a fox on the card, and it's that like trickster energy. Like I've fallen to this before, and it has left me so beaten and bloodied. But the truth is that you have your own inner power. And then we've got the 7 of Wands. And you can literally see, again, another fox. On the back of the deck, we have the 5 of Cups. And now it all makes sense. if you feel like you are in this constant state of having to protect, a constant state of like fight or flight, your heart is saying that you're tied to some sort of sadness in the past. Something happened and it made you feel as though no matter what you did, everything was going to fall apart around you. So you feel like that wounded warrior all the time. And the problem is that when you feel like the wounded warrior all the time, you get into a reactive state all the time. And when you get into that reactive state, then you're not able to hear your heart clearly, and then you can't hear your passion. So what spirit and your heart really, really need you to understand is right now, and again, this is a lot of Mars in retrograde energy, especially over here. You're being called to ask to take all of this internal. Take it internal and take a look at it. So when I do when I do shadow work or when I do any kind of internal work, I will journal for long durations of time. Usually it's like I'll find a random program or I'll find some piece of information that just resonates so deeply. For instance, I went through a phase last year in December where I literally shut myself off from the world. It was one of those I initiated massive levels of tower moments in my life because I withdrew from the world. I shut down a YouTube channel. I shut down a podcast. I shut down a blog. I cut off a lot of friends. I cut them out of my life completely. I left communities. I left groups. I did this with intention. I intentionally shut myself off from everything I had been interacting with, started reading about the gene keys and the different pathways that were developed by Richard Rudd. And then I started diving into myself. I still have a binder that is filled with like hundreds of pages of handwritten revelatory notes based off of his information and his programs and just the structure he provides, so that I could really break down pieces of myself to see what was holding me back. When I came out of that, I had made an enemy because I'd cut somebody out of my life that was toxic for me. Whether or not that person was toxic, they were toxic for me. And that's a distinction that I have to give a nod to Chloe Taylor on, because she really genuinely taught me that over and over and over again, because, repetition is the key to learning. But she kept getting that message for the piles that I would pick. But you do these things and you learn these things and you go through these things, and it leaves this residue of sadness. Any kind of dream that felt lost, the only reason why it feels lost is because you're still holding on to the perception that it's lost. Sometimes divine redirection happens. They say that divine rejection is divine protection, but sometimes divine rejection is in the purpose of redirecting you. So I came and I started making YouTube videos, and I got really involved, and I was really dedicated, and I knew what I was going to do, and I was going to make a video a day and just balls to the wall, just go at it. Okay. That's what I was going to do. I was listening to a spiritual teacher that he made it seem so easy. He made it seem so glorious, and he just painted it the wrong way. In my personal opinion, he painted it in the wrong way. He did it the wrong way and marketed it for the sake of taking from others. I don't need to get into that too far, but my point here is that I was involved in that situation so deeply. It drove my family into disrepair, emotionally, mentally, physically, financially. So I had friendships that were pulling on me. I had communities that were pulling on me. Everything was swirling with negativity. And I just went, okay, I'm walking away right now. And I asked Spirit, like, what was the point of it? Well, I kept getting baby steps. I was so camera shy. I have wanted to do this channel. Like my channel is more than a year old now. However, I posted once on the day that I set this channel up, and then I took months-long hiatus because I needed to get myself situated before I continued moving forward. But this is what I have wanted to do. This is what I have felt called to do. And I had to get myself here. So I ran in fear and I had to baby step my way back. I had to baby step with a blog and then a podcast. And then from the podcast, it was TikTok. From TikTok, it was YouTube. And then I had all of these different projects and I was overloading myself. I burned out and I attracted a lot of toxic people into my life because I was toxic for myself. And I recognized the pattern, broke off all the connections, and really went in and healed. I did it myself during Venus retrograde, but I feel like this is something that Mars retrograde for you guys is bringing up. And Mars goes retrograde on October 30th. But it's going to be that time where you recognize all the patterns that have occurred in your life that have held you back from embracing your passions out of some sense of sadness that you'll be abandoned or you'll be left behind or you'll be ostracized, because that frankly just isn't going to happen. Spirit has your back. And the 7 of Wands and the 9 of Wands here, it's literally like I'm hearing Spirit be like, this isn't going to be your energy, but your guides are going to embody this energy. Like the more wounded you feel, the more your guides are going to stand their ground and be like, this is my person. This is what they're going to do. And their light will shine, regardless of whether the world is going to accept it right away or not. They're going to shine it and the world will see it and the world will accept it. And we won't accept anything less. And your guides are saying that. Your heart is saying, let's heal this, because we have the might of the universe behind us. So pile 2, your heart is saying, no matter what pains, what anguishes have happened in the past, that sadness is ready to be let go because miracles are ready to come in. But you have to go within first and get really deep in touch with your own passions and your own purpose, because that's where it awakens. Trust in the might and the support and the love that you have from the universe, because I can feel it. Like you are not somebody I would want to meet on a dark spiritual street corner. If that makes sense. I'm pretty sure it does for your pile because I feel very connected to you spiritually. So I'm guessing that you're in my soul family. And I am definitely guessing that with this, you understand when I say you wouldn't want to, like no one would want to meet you on a, darkened spiritual street corner. It's literally because you can out spiritual the spiritualists in the world right now. Like you have this elevated view. I would actually call you the enlightened one. Like you are enlightened and you're enlightened. Oh, look, there's a light orb literally to confirm that. Holy cow. It's like floating everywhere. But yes, you are that person. And this is your confirmation. And my dogs are freaking out here. Give me just a moment. All right, my very enlightened pile 2. You know, the funny thing is my dogs are barking and I was just about to say this is all I'm seeing for you guys. But you are so strong. You are so resilient. Let yourself bring that truth forth. It doesn't matter what anything from the past that happened. It just doesn't matter anymore. The past is already gone. It doesn't exist. There's only right now for you. So right now, get back in touch with your passions, back in touch with the things that make your heart soar, because from there, every miracle, every manifestation, and every dream is going to come into fruition because your light will attract it in a beautiful way. Okay, pile 2, thank you again so much for being here. I want to say thank you to your guides and my guides. Thank you to Spirit so much for these amazing messages, for being here, and for always being with all of us. And I want to say thank you as well for these messages today of all days, because I think the whole world just needs a little bit more heart-centered focus. If this video resonated, please feel free to hit that like button, share it out with your family and friends, or share it on social media so that you guys give an equal energy exchange right now. That's really all I am asking for, if you feel so like it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. I'm sorry, guys. I just got hit with like a wave of exhaustion. So my brain is just fried. But don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And down in the description box, you guys can find all my links, author pages, astrology books, self-help books. There's links to donate to my channel if you are feeling so inclined. It's never expected. It's always, always, always filled with deep gratitude from me and a lot of love that goes out to you guys when you do so. All right. Let me know in the comment section below how this resonated. Let others know that you're pile 2 so you guys can, I just heard birds of a feather. So birds of a feather flock together so you can find your same feathered friends. Yeah, that's what I heard. All right, I need to go take a nap. I love you guys. Bye. Hello, my loves. Whoops. Let's try that again. Hello, pile 3. If you chose the third pile with this black obsidian, every time I touch this stone, I seriously, like, I can't help but giggle. And this card right here. Before we flip over and read the message from this card, I do want to do a little bit of channeling. So there's something with this stone. And when I first touched it, it talked about not dulling your shine. But it was more of like conjecture, a statement that you make to others, like, you know, that whole like bitch please attitude. That's what I get from this. Like, you may, it's almost as though you come into contact with people and you know your worth so well, and you know how much spiritual protection you have, and you know your heart, and you know your path, that when someone comes in and is like, you're not doing this right, you're doing this and this and this, and this is what you need to do, and you're like, bitch, please. Like, I have been through the 7 layers of hell. I have put the cherry on top of the ice cream cake filled with remorse, guilt, and just about every negative feeling that you can imagine. I've eaten it, and then I've gotten back up, and I have conquered the world. And you want to tell me how to meditate? It's that kind of energy that I get from you guys. It's a very, very deeply empowered energy, and it's an empowered energy that can at times have people feeling as though you're standoffish, feeling as though you are, I just heard the word hoity-toity. So like, you think that you're better than everybody else, or that you think that you're on a higher level or anything like that. And to be honest, pile 3, you likely are on a higher energetic level, a higher awareness level, a higher empathic level. You have higher levels of compassion. And that's the thing. That's the biggest thing here. You have the, like, you're vibrating at a level that has like the absolute highest level of compassion that anyone in your family line, anyone in your friend circle, anyone in your past, and even a lot of your ancestors have ever seen before. It's like you carry forth a level of spiritual compassion that is unrivaled. And because of this, your compassion comes off as actual, like, I would almost say it comes off as pride. But what I'm actually getting from this is not so much pride, but just empowerment, deep self-awareness that I just heard honey badger don't take no shit. So that was a thing way back in the day. I'm going to say back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, maybe. I'd have to Google when honey badger was a thing. And this is not Honey Boo Boo. This is Honey Badger. But it was the Honey Badger don't take no shit. Honey Badger don't give a shit. And it just was this like joking video about all of the things that a honey badger does. And I'm pretty sure you can find it on YouTube. But that's the energy that I get here. Like, a badger is an animal that will burrow and it will fight to the death. And they are fierce, fierce protectors of their domain and their family and what is right for them. And that's how a badger is. And then you think about the concept of honey. And honey is sweet. It is succulent. It is created by the buzzing of the bees and the blossoming of the flowers and all of these beautiful things mixed together in this almost like fairy tale-esque manner in order to create honey. And then we take it and we sweeten all the foods with it so that everything is just succulent. And that's the essence of honey. Now you take the essence of that decadent, succulent, sweet nectar of life and you mix it with like I'm seeing Aladdin and Street Rat and like I'll cut a bitch if she gets in my way. Forgive my language. Maybe you guys have like a throat chakra that's super, super open, or you guys just have the mouth of a sailor, and I have been there in my life. I try my best not to, but I still have my moments. But I am getting this energy from you guys, like that. I'm not going to apologize. I know my truth. I'm not going to apologize. I know my heart. I'm not going to apologize. I know my worth. And that's what I get from your energy. And then at the same time, there's like this small part, this small voice. It's like, am I being too hard? Am I being narcissistic? Am I being manipulative? And I'm here to tell you, if you're questioning whether you're being those things, you're not being those things, because someone who's manipulating knows they're manipulating. So they don't question whether they're doing it. They know they're doing it because it's an intentional act. Someone who is narcissistic, 90% of the time, they don't realize that they're a narcissist. That's just who they are. And I'm not extolling the virtues of narcissism. I lived in a narcissistic relationship for a very long time, actually many, and survived it gratefully. But I can tell you, as someone with deep compassion and empathy, just like you, I have had moments in which I have sat there and questioned, is this empowered? Is this prideful? Is this empowered? Is this egotistical? And I have had people attack me for being empowered by calling me egotistical and calling me prideful and saying that I didn't care, when genuinely I do. And that's what I feel from you, is that genuinely you do care. You do care. You care so deeply that it tears you apart when someone that you love is hurting and you can't do anything. You do care. So more than anything, what I feel like your heart wants to bring you is this peace offering of you can be empowered. It's okay to be empowered. It's not the wrong thing to be empowered. No one can dull your shine. And it's okay for you to stand there and say that. It's okay for you to shine as brightly as the sun in the middle of the day and as a full moon at night, all the time. And no one is going to dull your shine because you are highly protected. If you weren't willing to come here and listen to this reading, I could not tap your energy because your energy is that protected. Some people just have that kind of energy where it's just cloaked. It's cloaked until they decide, I think I'm going to listen to this, or I feel a message for me elsewhere. And then you come to a reading and that cloak gets lifted just a little bit. But other than that, you have this deep protection. It's like Archangel Michael is your right-hand man. It's like you've got Archangel Michael and Kali Ma on your right and left side. And it's like, if anybody F's with you, they will F with them back. And that's a beautiful thing because that's something that you wouldn't want to do but your guides and your protectors are doing it for you. So it's time for you to take a deep breath and breathe easy on this one. And I apologize if you guys can hear the music in the background. I'm going to try and edit out and diminish that as much as I can, but my daughter is in the kitchen doing her homework right now, and she had a long weekend with her father. So, all right, let's take a look here. It says, you may not always understand why certain things happen. However, there is always a higher purpose to the events in your life. Through turmoil, a blessing will soon be revealed. All right. So, I get the feeling that you guys have like this deep sarcastic bone in your body that is like all your bones. I had to get some coffee for that one. Okay, so I have a friend, my best friend Hope. She talked to me once about Leos and her take on Leos and what she's experienced from them. And I made some sarcastic comment at her, and she looked at me and she goes, that right there, that's a Leo. And I was like, what? What do you mean? She's like, Leos are the most sarcastic people I've ever met. And so as I'm like, you guys must have like all your bones in your body sarcastic, but it's just like one bone. I just feel like you guys have some Leo placements. You may have like a Leo moon, and that's why, because you have that almost like this dry humor at times where people would be like, that's awful. That's terrible. You should never joke like that. And then you feel like, am I really being a bad person, or am I just making light of something that I know that everybody feels is too heavy? And you're not doing it from like a negative place or a dark place or a bad place within you. It's just what you do. It's almost like trauma jokes. So my daughter makes a lot of trauma jokes. I encourage her not to make these jokes just because it actually is kind of painful to listen to as a mom. However, even though I tell her, like, I encourage her not to make them, I understand that you do go through phases in trauma in which making those jokes are how you survive. Making those jokes are how you keep breathing. It's how you break out of the hypervigilance. It's how you break out of the hyperanalysis, the hyper-awareness, the moments of fear and doubt and anxiety and worry and harm and self-harm tendencies or self-harm urges. It's how you break yourself out. You make a joke about it. You have to lighten it. It's not a bad thing. It doesn't make you a bad person. And it's not like a karmic repercussion thing that I am feeling from it. It's more like you're taking the tension and you're relieving it. So, you know, when you have a mop and you put the mop in the bucket and then you pull it up and you have to wring out the mop. So you're like a wrung out mop. So you're really tight. It's really tight. You have to let it go. And in order to let it go, you make these jokes. As you make these jokes, things will start becoming more clear to you for why there's that urge to make them in the first place. And you'll be able to find ways of transforming it so that it doesn't sound quite so harsh. But I'm here to tell you, you're funny. Like, you're just funny. You're funny. So, yeah, shitty things happen. Yeah, shitty things are shitty. Like, it just is the way it is. And yeah, you may be feeling like, oh shit, this sucks. And it does. But does that mean that you have to pander to other people or cave to the shittiness? No. So this card is indicating that something great is coming in. Let's find out. We have the card 12 Whispers. Ooh, gifts. Gifts, gifts, gifts. I just heard gifts, gifts, gifts. I don't know what that's from, but I definitely heard that. It almost sounded like Ducky from Land Before Time with yep, yep, yep. And then we have the heart of the matter. There is more going on than meets the eye. Card 11. Oh no, 22. Sorry, it's 22. And then we have 23 with River Woman. We have 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. Okay. First of all, River Woman makes me think of Mayans and Aztecs and Pueblos. So are you from Colorado? I know that's really weird, like that derivative, but I hear Pueblo and I think of Colorado before I think of the house. Actually, I think of them kind of concurrently. It's kind of like I see a Pueblo, but then I also think of Colorado. It's very strange. But what I'm seeing here is that I just heard bitches be loco, and then whisper whisper. Oh, like Pretty Little Liars. Whisper whisper. It almost sounds like Allison is back. So you may be going through a transformational time within your friend group, like a really big transformational time in your friend group. And as these transformations within yourself and your life continue to change, and you start moving into your heart space, and you start understanding and evaluating the things that are more than what they seem. So like seeing in the dark. And I don't mean by turning on the light. I don't mean by using night vision goggles. I mean like seeing in the dark. You can see through the darkness of people. You can see other people's darkness. You can see their shadows. You can see their light, but you can also see their wounds, their inner child. It's almost like you look at a person and their entire being flashes in like multiple ways. It's I'm hearing transparency. Now I'm hearing Transparent Soul by Willow and Travis Barker. Transparent Soul. I can't remember how the lyrics go right now. Can I get the lyrics, please? I can see right through you. Transparent Soul, I can see right through you, something like that. And that's the essence here. It's you can see through people. And you can this whispers card, usually it talks, I want to say it talks about like the whispers of the heavens coming down. So like clear audience opening up, but I'm not getting that. I'm actually getting like Hanged Man whispering vibes. So when the hangman, if you think about the hangman in the terms of Odin, the god Odin, when Odin went to the Yggdrasil, I can't say that word very well, so please don't come at me for the butchering of that one. He hung upside down from the tree of wisdom. I believe it was an ash tree. But when he hung upside down from this tree, he was seeking the wisdom of the runes. And he willingly hung himself upside down for 9 days straight in order for him to learn. He wanted to learn. So if you think about it this way, it's kind of like it's like you're in a state of stasis. So there's two states. There's either stasis or there's change. So if you're in a point of stasis, it's like you're in suspended animation. I'm getting like a lot of sci-fi movies like Minority Report and Avatar, which I've never seen before. Please don't attack me. It's on my to-watch list. I promise you it's on my to-watch list. Promise you it's on my to-watch list. I feel like I have to say that. Like, I'm sorry. The Matrix, of course, The Matrix. I think everybody who has a spiritual awakening knows The Matrix. But it's I'm getting all of these different movies where there's different gifts being used and different revelations being found, but there's a point in each one that talks about a point of stasis. So it's like being put on ice, being frozen in time, suspended in time. And now I'm seeing the Encino Man. And that's dating myself on this one because that's a movie from the 90s and I am old and most people would not have any idea what movie I am talking about. And if you know what the Encino Man is without Googling it, I want to know you. We should hang out because very few people know that reference. If you know what Under Wraps is and you tell me that the Disney movie one or the Disney Plus one is an atrocity because it's not the same. We should be best friends. Anyway, I do get a feeling like we would be very good friends. This stasis point that I'm feeling with you guys is the epitome of the Hanged Man. It's that suspension. And, you know, with the 12 card here, it doesn't surprise me. But it's this suspension point. It's like, okay, I know I can't go anywhere. I know I can't do anything. I know that I'm in this place. It's like being in the void, but you're in a void where you can't even create. You're like in the middle of a spider web, arms splayed out, legs splayed out, and your eyes are stuck open because you have to see certain things. And you keep closing your eyes to seeing these things, and your heart is saying you can't close your eyes anymore. Whatever it is, you can't close your eyes anymore, because right now, what you need to do is allow yourself to be in this stasis point. And I don't feel like it's going to last much further than the 9th of October. That 9 energy is really strong. Plus, I was getting repeating 19s, and October 9th would reduce down to 19. And I just saw 19 on my clock. So that's a really strong confirmation in my eyes. Like, that's how my guides confirm things. So we're looking at like the 9th of October is when this stasis is going to really alleviate. And I want you to understand, I know that I'm projecting this like 2-week time frame on this for you. But the 9th of October is actually the first quarter moon in Capricorn. And I am picking up that energy with you guys with this whole like emotional trigger stuff. The divine wants you in this stasis point. There are two constants, stasis and change. So you either stay the course or you are going through a transformation. If you're in stasis, you're about to change. Something is about to change. And even this card says it. Through turmoil, a blessing will soon be revealed. It may feel like you're in like the slowest moving tower moment, and you tried to initiate it, but there is divine timing at play here that's saying you can't initiate it. I will initiate it. And this is what Spirit is saying. You cannot initiate this tower moment. This is not a tower moment for you to initiate. I am going to be moving things in the world for you. And you need to be watchful and observant. And now I'm getting like a ton of questions coming in. It doesn't mean that you can't continue working your job. It means on a spiritual level, you may feel stuck. And it may be like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, kind of stuck. And that's where that emotional trigger comes in for you to react and become really like sarcastic and jokey. And like I said, you're very funny. You're well protected. Now I get why that protection message came in so strong, because you're in stasis. And when you're in stasis, the biggest fear is that you don't have the support of the divine. The biggest fear. Like, okay, I'm not going anywhere. Nothing is changing. Everything is just back and forth and back and forth. You know, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And no matter what, you realize you're still losing a step every single time. So you're not actually moving forward. Technically, it feels like you're moving backwards. But then you do like this stutter step and then shoot forward. And then you do the back and forth dance. And that can get in your head. But there's a reason for this happening right now. And that's because the friend groups that you've been in, those are changing. Because your inner child is awakening. Because it's time for you to hear and see and know how interconnected everything is. All the way back to the garden, all the way back to the beginning, all the way back to the bang, all the way back to whatever point it is that you keep focusing on, whether it's Egypt, whether it's Mesopotamia, whether it is the Mediterranean, whether it is Atlantis, whatever point that you have been focusing on so damn hard at remembering, it's coming. It's awakening. But it can't awaken unless you surrender yourself completely and utterly to stasis right now. Because when you're in this stasis point, you're going to hear everything. And I want you guys to be very calm as this happens. So I want you to understand when you start hearing everything like this, it's literally like hearing a leaf drop from a tree a mile away. It can feel overwhelming. They actually have, I'm being shown an episode of Grey's Anatomy, and it is 4th or 5th season. And Arizona Robbins is working on a case with a teenage girl who comes in and they think that she is crazy and trying to self-harm. They diagnosed her with schizophrenia because she can hear things. And Dr. Krebs, or Alex Krebs, figures out that she has some sort of neurological disorder going on, and it's causing her to be able to hear in a hypersensitive way. And this can happen with very, very powerful clairaudience. It can happen with very powerful mediums. It can happen with people who have a very powerful purpose in this life. That's why your shine can't ever be dulled. Even when you're cloaked, your shine can't ever be dulled. Your light can't ever go out. Your light can't ever be hidden. And the divine is saying, you can, like, no one can dull your shine, but neither can you. Only I can protect this. So you have to surrender to my protection here and listen to what it is that I have to say. For the words are going to pour forth like water, like rain, like waterfalls. And when it's all said and done, there will be rainbows. And I'm seeing like rainbows bursting in the way that flowers burst open in blossoms, like multiple all over the place. Let this pour out and let me pour into you. Stay in stasis, because stasis is what you need right here and right now. This is the absolute heart of the matter. You need to be in this stasis point because there is a massive transformation internally going on within you, pile 3. And that transformation is intensely, intensely important, not just for you, but I'm sorry, I have to say it because it came through, but for the entire world. The entire world, we just need you. The way that you change changes us. The way that you grow grows us. The way that you love opens our hearts to love. And yeah, it's easy to be like, yeah, no, that's not the case. It is. It is the case. Your past relationships are not a reflection on the level of love that you have. And that is a Caitlin Steele quote. She said, you are not a reflection of those who cannot love you. And that was a quote that literally got me through in times of needing to survive. It got me through during my divorce. That was the one thing that got me through. I had that as my phone screens to remind myself that I am not a reflection of those who cannot love me. It is not on me that they couldn't love me. That is their downfall. They couldn't love me. It's their downfall. I have to love myself. And it took me years. And I am telling you, years. My divorce was 7 years ago. 7 years ago. And it took me until 2 years ago before I broke myself out of it. Even 5 years after being divorced, it took me that long to break out of it, to break out of the mind control, to break out of the manipulation, to see the level to which I had surrendered my own power, my own personal power, my own mental health, physical health to another person, and a person that was not in my life. And I did it out of fear. You're being broken out of whatever it is in your life that is similar to this situation. No matter how long it has been since that point of subjugation, that point of control, that point of no mercy towards you, that is being broken. It's like you've worn this hard armored shell, like a cancer. And that's being broken open so that you can soften, so that your true essence comes forth now. But you need to be able to rest through this because it's going to be difficult. Give yourself the time that you need. Okay, I've got the 6 of Cups. We got a lot of cards that came out for you guys, and I tried to put them away, and it made me feel sick, so I know they're yours. The 6 of Cups. Yeah, the 10 of Swords. See, the 6 of Cups, it talks about past pains and past wounds. I don't know what the symbolism of a lemur is, but I do know that those were a synchronicity for me. And then we've got the reindeer and the 10 of Swords. I mean, look at the way this reindeer is. It's literally hanging upside down, just like the Hanged Man. And then we've got the 10 of Pentacles. We've got the Magician. We've got the 7 of Wands. You guys may have been drawn to another pile. If you were, this is your confirmation. I'm not going to give you the number of it, though, because it's only for a select few. And then the Lovers. So we have 6. 6 is on the outside, and then we've got 1, 1, 1, and a 7. That's a lot of ones. It's 1s, 6s, and then a 7. But really, we've got 3, 4, and 5. We're moving forward. We're progressing. We're getting through this because 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're moving on. It's moving on time. And that's what I get here. Like, in the past, this is what it would have looked like. Break yourself down, beat yourself down, be betrayed in order to try and find your happiness, your happy life. That's not the way it works anymore for you. And the divine is saying that because on the back of the deck, we have the Page of Cups. And look, she has turned her back to all of this. And that's not to say that the 10 of Pentacles is bad, but she's like, no, I want the Lovers. No, I'm the Magician. I'm going to fight for what I want. I'm going to elevate myself. I'm going to rise up. I want this river. I want what my heart wants. My heart wants union. My heart wants harmony. My heart wants to be all. My heart wants balance. I don't want to be at the top of the pier, the top of this and the top of that, because it makes me a moving target, just like it has in the past. Now you're saying, I don't care. I have all the resources I need so that I don't have to go on a fight. I can just stand at the top of the mountain and look at where I want to go and then make the decision to get there. That's all I need. That's all I need. And that's what your heart is saying. That's all you need. Let yourself dream in this stasis place that you're in. I don't like calling it the void because it doesn't feel like it to me. That all I know how to call it is stasis. You're in this stasis point. This is where you're at. This is where you're going. This is where you're going to be transforming, transmuting, just becoming. You are becoming. What you're becoming, that's going to be individual to each one of you. And that's the most beautiful part of this. Because for everyone who picks pile 3, you're going through something exactly the same and intrinsically different. That means that you guys are so deeply aligned to each other, but you're experiencing it in such dramatically different ways that it helps bridge in all areas. It's like creating an energy bridge between cultures and genders and ethnicities and lands and mindsets and times. And that's a beautiful thing, because once all of this starts pouring into you from the divine, you guys, there may be some Aquarius here as well, but once this starts pouring in from the divine and all of this revelation comes to you, all of this realization comes to you, and you turn your back on those cloudy days, you say, I know that this has been there, but this is not the pattern I'm going to go with anymore. I am the Magician. I'm going to take all of my tools and resources and I'm going to put myself magically at the top. And when I do that, now the decision I've made is to bring everyone together, because no one goes anywhere without everybody else. We are all one. We all have to help each other. Now let me show the world how to do that. Let me show the world how to build this. And that's a beautiful thing. And your heart wants you to know that this is coming out of the most long-lasting, painfully enduring like I'm hearing traumatic ricochet lifetime points for you. I don't know necessarily what that means, but I'm seeing a pinball or like a ping pong ball. Like somebody's like there are two people playing ping pong, and I just saw 3344, and they're popping it back and forth and hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting, and you're the ball and you're so sick of it. You're so tired. And Spirit's saying, ball's on the table now. You don't have to be the honey badger anymore. Right now, right here, right now, it's okay for you to open your heart and say, I can't do this anymore. Spirit, I cannot do this anymore. Spirit, please take this from me. Spirit, please open whatever needs to be opened within me. Please help me through this. Guide me, lead me, teach me. Let me get through this with you by my side, with you holding my hand, with you within me. Give me the strength, give me the courage. Help me have the sight, the knowing, the awareness. Awaken within me what it is that my heart needs. Let me see the truth of this, whatever it is. And watch, just wait and watch. Allow yourself to sink deep into this restful stasis point because you deserve it, you need it, and you've earned it. Wow. Okay. I can't not giggle when I touch your stone. It's just crazy to me. Okay, pile 3, this is all I'm seeing. I am so deeply honored and grateful that you are here. I want to say thank you to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection. And thank you so much, Spirit, for these loving, wonderful messages that I get to channel for the collective. I am always so honored and always so humbled and blessed. Thank you. Pile 3, if this resonated, please hit that like button. Go ahead and share it out with your friends and family. Share it on social media. The more likes and shares and comments and interactions I get, the better YouTube knows how to work with the algorithm for my channel. And I really appreciate all the help that I get here. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell up in the corner. That way you get notified when I upload and go live and all of that fun stuff. And down in the description box, please check out my books on Amazon, as well as consider donating to the channel. It's not required, but it is deeply, deeply grateful and loved from me when I receive donations. Down in the comment section below, pile 3, identify yourself, what pile you chose. Let me know how this resonated. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how you're breaking free. Let me know how the stasis has been going. I'm curious. All right, pile 3s. Thank you again so much. I love you all. Bye. Hello, pile 4. If you chose the 4th card, this one right here, and then this green fluorite stone, this is your message. And the same thing is happening when I touch the stone as before. What I'm hearing is ocean waves and seagulls, but more than the water, it's more of hearing the wind. It's like you can hear the wind and then you can hear the water responding. So this to me is talking a lot about a kind of gust coming through your heart chakra and clearing out your heart and bringing that that level of like hydration and emotional clarity that you've been seeking for a long time. It's like understanding the power and the growth that you have had within your own heart to help empower your own mind. And this is a beautiful energy because what it feels like strongly is a mind and a heart alignment. And that kind of journey is one that really truly takes time. It's something that you can't rush forward in because if you, for instance, say you align yourself with your heart, but your mind isn't on board, you're going to have an inner dissonance between these two key parts of who you are. And your heart wants you to know that your mind is on board with whatever path you've chosen, whether that be a path in love, a path in life, It's gonna play out differently for a lot of you, but right now, the way that this pile in particular feels is though it's a path having to do with family. And I'm seeing this tree, and it's almost like a path of the family tree where you're realizing that you're the sun in the family. Like, you're the shine, you're the light, you're the beacon of your family. And for a long time, that may have been a very heavy energy for you, because why you? Why were you the one? What I have learned on my journey is each one of us contracts a certain path in life. And we come into certain families, whether it's because the souls within that family are connected to us, or because that family line is important. And for you, it's kind of like a mixed bag. Like, some of the people in your family are your soul family, some of them aren't. And at the same time, the family line that you were born into holds some very deep, mystical, I want to say unusual gifts that haven't been seen in this world for a very long time. And these gifts are awakening within you. And it can feel very offsetting, off-putting, because they're not anything that you can find a source from within your family line. I'm the kind of person that always wants to find the root. I want to find the root of anything, whether there's a conflict or an issue. I always seek to find the root cause. It's actually like the premise of my first book that I wrote, Chemistry with Kismet. It had everything to do with going back to the root and finding what it was, the source, the originator point that created some sort of mental dysfunction or mental health issue or mental blockage. Going back to the root and actually allowing yourself to look at it without having to re-experience it. This is something that I feel really strongly, as though this pile in particular, you may have been seeking the root of these gifts, and it doesn't exist within any of the generations that you have experienced, nor that you can see. It's like it goes beyond. There's almost this essence of a veil. So when we talk about the veil, it's usually talked about the veil between the living and the dead, but a veil can be between anything. It's literally just a demarcation line between one point and another. It's a liminal space. So there is what feels like in your family bloodline a sort of veil energy. So you can't see where these gifts were sourced from. And that's an important thing for you to be aware of, is what I'm hearing, because the root is there, but the root that you're seeking can't be found outside. It's within you. It's actually like located in, I'd say, somewhere between your higher heart chakra and your throat chakra, almost by your thyroid area in your actual throat. And I don't know if this correlates to an actual chakra, or if it's just like you have some very unique energy center there. And it's like, you know how some people get what feels like a frog in their throat, or there's like this bubble in their throat. And I'm actually seeing the Little Mermaid when she starts tapping her throat when she can't speak, when she's trying to tell Eric, I don't have my voice. And that part that she's tapping on, that part right there is like an energy center for you. It's like an energetic power center for you. And it actually correlates like right here. And Spirit wants you to know that that's the root right there. That's the root of these gifts. And it's like now I'm being brought to that feeling of being out on a winter day, and it's really cold, and you can feel that coldness all the way through. Like, I live in North Dakota, and we always talk about how the wind in North Dakota will, like, you can feel it. It cuts you straight to the bone. Like, you can feel the cold inside of your bones. But you come inside from that, and especially as kids, you come inside and you have this hot cup of cocoa and you've got marshmallows on it, and you wrap yourself in a blanket and sit by a heater or by a fireplace or something like that. And you take that first drink. And when you take that first drink, it's like the heat just disperses all the way through your body. You can actually feel the heat of the liquid going down your throat. You can feel it hitting your stomach, and it's like it re-energizes and warms your entire body from the inside out. This center for you is what energizes you. So I'm actually seeing like someone rubbing it like with eucalyptus oil. Eucalyptus oil is so great for opening passageways for breathing. And I did get a really strong wind energy for you. You guys might really benefit from breathing techniques. I use the Wim Hof breathing technique on a regular basis, and I'll link the beginner's Wim Hof method in the description box for you guys. But especially with you guys, there's this essence of finding a way to warm that up in whatever way works for you. Some of you might just like get a UV light and have a UV light focus on that, or a steamer focus on that, something like that. Just a warmth thing. It's not quite your throat chakra and it's not quite your higher heart chakra, but it's some sort of energy center. And I can't actually tell you what it is because I don't know. And Spirit's not giving me any words or anything. I'm just getting an image of it. It would require research, but it's not one of my energy centers. So if you feel so called to do research and see if that is an actual chakra, please let us know. Like, let us all know down in the comment section because I'm very curious. But that energy center, that's the source of this sun power, this sun gift that you have. You may have your sun in an air sign. That would be Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. You may feel this activated now that we are in Libra season as well. You may feel this come into a better balance now that the sun is in Libra. It can feel a little off-putting if the sun is in a sign that isn't an air sign for you energetically. And this is Spirit just, and your heart especially, saying, be mindful of what zodiac season you're in for this energy center, because when the sun is in an air sign, you may have an easier time accessing this and a deeper level of trust in it versus when it is elsewhere. Like earth signs or water signs or fire signs. So let's get a look at what this card says. It says, oh my gosh, I promise you, I promise you I have not read these cards. Look inside yourself. Examine what is causing you to feel this way. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. It's this, the root is inside of you. It's not going to be found on your family line. It's literally inside of you. And that's why you're constantly seeking it. You're trying to find where it's at. Whatever is making you feel this way, as though it's blocked or as though all of a sudden it's awakening, but you don't understand it because nobody else experiences it. The root is inside of you. It's like there was this bud planted within you that was always going to open at this point in your life. And you just didn't remember. And that happens on the soul journey. Please know that genuinely happens on the soul journey. It takes time to come into these awarenesses. And I feel like I'm not saying anything you don't know, but it's almost like I feel like I just want to reassure you, like I would if you were my child or my sister or my brother or, just somebody that I genuinely love. And I just saw 11:11 on the clock, which made me think of the Four of Wands, actually. So this may just be a point in which in your life you're coming together more with other people. You're joining with other people, and you're still having this kind of dissonance internally where you don't fully trust it because, in the past, it may not have worked out. But you have this beautiful gift. Whatever the gift is, it's like you can harmonize something. You think about music and you think about lyrics and harmony and melody. The harmony brings everything together. The harmony is almost like that dissonance point. And it needs to be there in order to blend everything together the way that it is necessary to blend together. And if it weren't for that, then everything would just be the same. And you bring that you bring that uniqueness. And that's something that may have really been a struggle for you to accept within your heart, because your heart really wants you to know, like, this is where your clarity is. This is where your peace is. This is where your abundance and your prosperity is. But this is where your emotional powerhouse center is this center right here. And it doesn't look like everybody else because it's not meant to, because you're not like everybody else. You are very unique to yourself. Let's see what your other cards say. I want to cry for you guys. Look to your inner strength. You are stronger than you realize. And this, again, is like very strong Little Mermaid vibes. And you know, I said Melody, and the Little Mermaid 2 is actually about Ariel's daughter, and her daughter's name is Melody. Maybe that has something in there for you. And I'm looking at this, and it's like when Ursula was watching Ariel like succeed. She was watching her succeed, even without that one thing that she believed that was the only strength and the only power and the only thing that she could possibly have. But she still was able to create love, to find love, to be love, and to express that love with or without her voice. It didn't come down to just one part of her that was lovable. All of her was lovable. And that's something that I feel like you can definitely see this correlation with. And you have 2 cards talking about your inner self. So this is a lot about your heart calling you back within, so that you understand that you are who you are because you are meant to be this person. And it's not meant to be a burden, and it's not meant to be scary. It's meant to free you from the bonds that you have felt that you were under. Think about Ariel. She wanted to be human. She wanted to walk on the land. She wanted to experience being different from the rest of her family. And she faced so many battles for that. So many different trials and pains and anguishes, and almost lost everything. But at the end of the day, she succeeded. She found her place in the world, and she was able to bridge 2 worlds together that normally wouldn't flow together, that lived in fear and in mystery with each other. And she was the one that bridged that together. So you are that bridge, but you have to bridge yourself internally first. And that bridge is what I felt happening between your mind and your heart. Now we have the card 11 with forest tears, which doesn't surprise me because I was also hearing, when I said wind, I was hearing like the wind in the willows, and that's a children's book, The Wind in the Willows. I can't remember what it's about, but I'm looking at her hair and how she just kind of blends in. And that might be something that you have felt like has been a theme. You are born to stand out, but somehow you found yourself blending in, and it has made you feel as though you don't belong. But it's almost like you needed to blend in. And oh my gosh, you guys, I just realized both of these are 11:11, and we saw 11:11 on the clock. You guys have such a deeply synchronistic pile. Wow. But you needed to blend in for a while in order to see all the differences that exist in the world. So you could understand that your difference is meant to be how it is. Your difference is so unique. Your difference is so beautiful. And you can feel the pain of trees. You can feel, it's like you're so deeply connected to Mother Nature, but the wind is like your greatest ally, is what I'm hearing. Your greatest ally, your greatest strength. So you may feel disconnected in winter. You may have been diagnosed with seasonal affective disorder, and I'm not a medical professional. I am an accredited psychotherapist, but I'm not a PhD. So please make sure that you keep in tune with your own body and your own knowing and your own medical concerns. But if you were diagnosed with seasonal affective disorder, it may be because you actually could feel the death cycle of the trees. Now, the trees are never actually dead, but It's like they weep the leaves at times. Sometimes it feels as though it's this enchantment, but sometimes it feels as though it's this sorrowful thing. It's this weeping. And it's like you can feel that. And that's a beautiful gift within you. Even if it doesn't feel like it, it is truly a beautiful gift within you. Wow, we've got 33 with soul love and 30, there is only light. So we've got 1s and 3s. Have you guys been at my other readings and been in like my 13 pile? Because I kind of get that same energy. I love how similar these two cards are. They're literally like the exact same. They're the exact same image, but the colors are different. And it's sacral chakra and throat chakra, which is again what I was picking up with that center energy. It's kind of like that's a blend of those chakras. But if you look, there is only light and soul love. When you love someone on a soul level, you may know they have shadows, but it's like you don't need to worry yourself about them. You don't need to see, you see beyond the shadows, but you don't discount the shadows. And I'm telling you that your light is bringing in a deep love from your soul. And the more that your mind and your heart align, the more that love and that light really come out. We've got the Queen of Wands. So you are starting to step into your power. And the Six of Cups, you may have been drawn to another pile. If you were drawn to another pile, I would say watch that one first, because this one is like the progression of that pile. Because the Queen of Wands is someone who knows her own power. She stands in her own power. But this is telling me that you have been working to get out of the shadows within yourself and back into a state of internal self-empowerment. And doing that has really brought up a lot of issues from your past, from your childhood, things surrounding love and harmony and friendship and peace. And then we've got the Two of Cups. And again, this makes me think so much of these two cards, the soul love and there is only light. It's like, if you've been asking Spirit if you're with the person you're meant to be with, Spirit is saying absolutely you are, and you need to get out of your mind. Because this devil energy is what's preventing you from actually seeing the harmony between this. And that's because I'm seeing these hummingbirds, and it's because you feel like it's not possible. But it is, and you have to seek within yourself because there's a higher level of commitment here. So we've got the Hierophant. Now, the Hierophant is Taurus energy and the devil is Capricorn energy. So again, remember when I talked about how sometimes when the sun is in other signs aside from air signs, you may start feeling a little bit off kilter, as though your power isn't your own, as though you're not aligned between your heart and your mind. Those two seasons, and I know that we haven't gotten into Capricorn season yet, but Capricorn season from last year through Taurus season may have been something that has really been hard on you. You may have those prominent placements in your chart that really combat that feeling of the sun in an air sign. And now I'm hearing ringing in my ears way louder, so take that as a confirmation. But this Capricorn energy, the other thing that I'm picking up is Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus is the planet of love. She's the love, art, beauty, but she's also about fertility, about achievement. And she's about going against the grain, because Venus is the only planet that has a rotational pattern that is right to left instead of, or that is like east to west instead of west to east, something like that. Essentially, she rotates backwards to us. So the sun rises in the west and sets in the east, whereas the sun rises in the east and sets in the west for us. So we're doing this kind of oppositional spin with Venus. And so back in December of 2021, Venus went into retrograde in Capricorn. And this was helping to close out a cycle from 2013 to 2014. So if you have been working through a lot of those issues surrounding higher level of commitment, love, marriage, union, harmony. This is just that some latent energy here that your heart is saying, okay, there's a lot of planets in retrograde right now. I think we have like 7 of them. And then, Black Moon Lilith keeps popping back and forth in between going retrograde and going direct. But with all of this retrograded energy, now is the time to be able to go in within and reflect on November 19th through January 22nd for Venus's pattern. I know that she went retrograde, I believe, in December. I think it was December 9th. But she was in that pre-shadow phase in November. And I do remember it very vividly because when she went into retrograde, it actually pulled me out of the world and the life I was living to go change everything that actually brought me here to this channel, to making this channel, creating this channel in January. So it was after her retrograde that I came back to my channel. Like, I had posted one video on the day that I created this channel, which was September 21st. And then after that, I didn't put anything up until late January, or mid to late January, because I was so scared of doing this. I was so scared of embracing this part of myself. It really challenged all the structures. I was really stuck in this mentality of what it was going to do in my life and what it was going to change. And especially with family dynamics, not just like my small family, like me and my kids, my husband, but also like with my mom and my stepdad and my grandparents who are, very religious. This is very different. So something that I learned during all of this that I feel like is what Spirit has me here for with you guys is when there is a love from the soul, it doesn't matter. You can defy family. You can go against the grain of family. You can be that quote unquote black sheep, and you are still loved by them, even if they don't show it to you in the right way. And that means that you can rest your mind at ease, that you are lovable, you are worthy of love. And the more that your mind rests at ease within your heart, the more that alignment occurs. So with all these planets in retrograde, Spirit is really asking you to reevaluate or go back and think about how Venus impacted you during those times. And what have you learned since then? What have you changed since then? How have you grown since then? Because it's going to help open that door, open that lock within you. And the struggles and the hardships and the feeling as though you're blending into everything or being washed out or nobody's seeing you, that's just going to fade. It's going to fade away. And when you allow this to happen, you're going to see that these two competing energies are just the duality of an unaligned heart and mind, when in reality, the truth is that you're in harmony exactly as you're meant to be within, but also within your connections. So really think about who you're connected to in life. And it doesn't have to be romantic. I do get a very strong, like, romantic love here, but it doesn't have to be that way. You could have a twin sister, twin brother. You could have a best friend who inside and out is your twin, or just a soul family that is just intricately connected to you. But the truth is that no matter how many times you've gone through this, things always end up looking the same. And that's because when you move from love, when you move from the heart, when the mind and the heart align, there's only light. And you shine that soul love out into the world. And I gotta say, you guys, if you're in a connection, you're in a soulmate connection, you're in a twin flame connection. And I don't say that lightly. I never say those things lightly. And I don't feel as though there's codependency here. I feel as though you are one of those rares who have really developed interdependency. And it's a beauty and it's a wonder. And especially on the spiritual journey, to do that with a partner because it's not the easiest thing to do. And I am speaking from personal experience. So I do understand. Okay, pile 4. This was absolutely incredible. Um, I am in awe of you. And I feel like some of you may be crying right now. And if you are, please know that my heart goes out to you for whatever relief you're feeling, for whatever pains you may be expressing or moving through. I hope that this brought you clarity. I hope that this brought you peace. I hope that this brought you healing, because I can feel how deep this goes, this questioning of yourself, and the truth of who you are is so beautiful. And the love that you have and the love that you deserve is so beautiful. And your heart truly wants you to see all of this, because I see it, Spirit sees it, your guides see it, and so many people in the world see it. All right. I did want to mention there was a movie that came through. It's something from my childhood, and I don't know if any of you have seen it. But if it resonates, please take it. If it doesn't, just walk away. But the movie that came through was The Polar Bear King. And I didn't want to get into it. I don't want to explain it too much, because if it resonates, it's going to be one of those moments where you're like, oh my gosh, nobody knows this movie, because nobody knows this movie. But I did pick that up with the Hierophant a second time. All right. Pile 4, I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your beautiful light, the love that you have in your heart and your soul. Thank you for being here. Thank you to your guides and my guides. Thank you to Spirit. Thank you for connecting us and for bringing these messages forth and for being amazing. And I apologize if you can hear my daughter squealing. All right. Pile 4, if this resonated, please hit that like button, share it with your friends and family, share it on social media. Give me a shout out. I would love that. I'd really appreciate it. Don't forget to like or subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. And down in the comment section below, let me know how you're doing. Let others know what pile you chose so that you guys can all connect to each other and lean on each other and find that soul love together. All right. Thank you again, and I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye.